You must be very patient, very persistent. The world isn't going to shower gold coins on you just because you have a decent skill. You are going to have to work like crazy to put up that skill to the attention of organizations. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another series of podcasts on product management domain. I am Chandan Palwar, a student of IIM Shillong. It takes some immense pleasure for me, an honor for me to extend a hearty welcome to one of the great industry leaders in product management domain, Mr. Vinay, a product manager at Microsoft. He graduated from IIM Bangalore in 2021, and prior to his MBA, he was having 4 years of experience as a developer. Currently, he's working on Microsoft Excel as his product domain in Microsoft company. Well, now I must have spoken enough, and I understand our audience or the viewers of this video must be interested to hear from Vinay directly. So, hi Vinay, how are you doing in these trying times?
Hi Chandan. Thanks for introducing me. I'm great. I'm doing good. Uh, so yeah, we can begin the session. Mm,
Okay, so are you doing fine these trying times?
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that's great. Okay, so Vinay will not waste our time of the viewers and also will not be wasting your time, in fact. So we'll directly come to the point. So Vinay, since you come from a corporate background and majority of our audience or the viewers of this video are also belongs to a business management background. So there will be viewers who must be interested in pursuing MBA or the students who must be already pursuing the MBA from various MBA schools in our country, India. Also, there must be other students who or other basically corporate champs who will be working in organizations and must be interested in particular product management domain. So, can you please tell us like more about your journey till now? Like, what made you join IIM Bangalore, and then what made you join Microsoft? So, can you please tell us about a journey about your like 10 years behind?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks Chandan for asking that question. So I'll just give a glimpse of my journey, right? And how I landed to the
Yes.
position where I'm currently into. So from my childhood, I was pretty much sure that I want to do engineering. So uh, and I always believe that you are all because of your choices. So you make the choices, and you try to follow those choices, and there are external factors which makes that fall into your bucket or not. That's a different game. So but you made a choice that you want to do engineering, so there I was clear that I want to do engineering. So with the same focus, I went and cracked the AIEEE exam, and um, like I got into electronics and communication engineering. So that time, that was my passion, that I want to play around with some voltages and all, some diodes and all, so that I make some products which can be played and used in the industry. So in that fashion it was. But again, right, once the my engineering was getting over, I got into a software product company, not into the semiconductors or electronic specific things. But being electronics and communication engineering, I was having a good exposure to these software skills also. So yeah, that was not my choice, but I accepted that as a good opportunity, as a like joining as a developer. So I went and started building software products for the corporate organizations, right? So that journey was pretty much interesting, that I started learning the coding from the start. Then I started growing in the coding space. So there comes another question to my mind, right? Like, hey, what's the next opportunity in the life? What is that next choice I have to look into? So of course, right, there is a another side of the in workspace where I used to work, right? Like the product management space. So so like the last 2 years of my development phase was mostly about exposing to the client sites and interacting with the clients, and working more closer with the functional heads, like what we say product managers, we used to say functional heads and all. So that pretty much excited me, that hey, look, this job looks so exciting, what needs to be done? Okay, then there was no clear path defined at that point of time. So I had to Google it out and do my own explorations and all, right? Like what choice I have to make now. So that time I came up with this option that, hey, I have to do an MBA, specialized in management skills, leverage your existing skills so that you become customer facing and building good product for the world, right? Like whoever is using that thing. So in that fashion, I just I like appeared MBA examination, cleared CAT, and went to IIM Bangalore, where I actually focused on getting those electives which will help me in shape my skills in building a better technology products and building up good managerial skills, so that when I land into the industry, I will be having the skills which I have gained before MBA and during MBA, so that from which I can like leverage and take my career further ahead. So that's where like I'm currently now that I would say that that all worked in my favor, and I landed into the Microsoft, and yeah, I'm working here.
That sounds amazing. Like a person who's having a clear clarity in mind, and also you did electronics and communications in your graduation. Then post that you worked for 4 years in as a developer, and then all of a sudden you started to make a plan that you need to work for, you need to study an MBA, having an MBA degree, and you luckily got IIM Bangalore. That's again a big vision for everyone. So you are a visionary person, as like I come to a point that you're a visionary person. So can you tell us more about your future plans? So what do you like, what do you have visions and goals in your life? What do you want to do in life?
Okay, so right, like you asked about the future plan. So I don't believe in having something like 10-year down the lane or 20-year down the lane plans, because I like, in terms of vision, if you asked, I would say that for me the journey is most important. So I try to make my journey interesting, so that, because ultimately I'm speaking the journey here, not the destination. Like the destination is the topic, but the whole journey is where I think people are interested in knowing also. So the point is that making that journey interesting is my always a focus. So currently being at this position also, in Microsoft, how my journey will evolve from current product manager positions to um, like something which I have not explored till now, but something which will impact right away in the world, where users will be using my products, or something which I made impactful. The word I would say is like users impacting product. I would say, like being a product manager, I'll use a product thing, so which will give some values to their life. So that's the thing. So yeah, in that way I want to progress in future also.
All right, that's amazing again. So, like you are having so much clarity in your thoughts, and also you have answers to all the questions. Like I asked you about your visions and goals, so you said no, no, there's no kind of thing. You just need to make your particular journey, or you need to make your particular like progress sheet so much impactful in your life that you enjoy throughout your life. So that's again a life lesson for all of us. Rest, we would be really interested to know, like, why did you choose this particular domain only? So why product management? What excites you most about this product management domain?
That's a great question. What's about why product management, right? Like this again goes back to my childhood days. Uh, I used to take some motors and some thermocols and all, and I used to make some robots. So I was thinking that, hey, I can make a robot and I can make it do my all chores kind of thing, right? Like at that time I was not knowing how much complexity it will be there, but if I apply some motors and all, it will help out me, and it will help in right, like doing my housework, so that like it will ease my mom's work kind of thing. So I always used to think that, okay, like some working product should be there, which should be visible and it should be doing something. So that kind of uh, base was there with initially with me. So even computer science engineering didn't excite me, because I used to code, and I used to see that, hey, you'll be coding, but you will not see what is that it's giving an output to the world, kind of thing. Now it is change of perspective, but yeah, still, right, something which will give an good help to the users, like who is using that thing. So in that way, I just went ahead. So product is, right, in the digital space we say it is a product manager, but product for me, it was always about, hey, table is a product, how to make that product, and what are the skills into that thing. So that clarity was there about the product thing. So after traveling the journey, right, again, like, it's all because of the choices, but few things don't fall in your places. I did electronics and communication engineering, but I didn't landed into the electronics and communication. I went into the product space of the software development, where I my illusion of that so coding will not change the will not make an impactful product was, like, kind of eradicated from my mind, and I started making those products, and that was pretty much interesting. So building a product is something, but building more exciting products are in the hand of, like, the product managers, where, like, you go and you explore the world, and you see that, hey, look, something more can be done, something exciting can be done, right, like, which can change the world. So these are, like, more about the decision makers, which are like a product manager. So here I can say that currently I have not done anything, but I have that freedom now, that I can make something which can be, like, used in the world, with the product management space in the digital or technology space. Yeah.
That is again a modesty of yours. You're saying that you didn't do anything right now, but you're already an MBA student at IIM Bangalore, and you're having that tag, and also you're currently working in Microsoft. That is again a dream company for most of the individuals. So, like you said, you told the viewers that you made a particular sort of experiment, or you are kind of an inventor. In your previous days, you made something out of thermocol. So that really makes us so much, interested to know more and more about you. So finally, like, we are really interested, like students are having so called myths about the product management domain. So they are having, what is exactly product management, what do we do as a product manager in product management domain, so what are the tasks, roles and responsibilities in this domain. So what do you want to tell our audience, what are your views on this?
Okay, so I'll split it into two parts, right? Like, product management is one specific domain of workspace, right? And there is another thing, I want to work. So let me take an analogy over there, right? Like, for example, I want to travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore. So how do you travel, right? The goal is set that I want to travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore, but how do you travel will vary, right? Like, you want to go by bus, you want to go by train, or you want to go by walk, you want to go by car, or you want to go by flight, right? So in the same way, that each process is having its own domain, right? The product management is also, right, let me say, hey, I want to go to Bangalore by train. So by train is that product management space, right? There can be multiple ways of reaching to that thing, but product management, I would say, is that medium which will help you in reaching that domain. So there is a life goal that I want to work, I want to give a good impact to somebody, something, right, like a social cause, or a, a tech space or something, right? Like, that's the end goal. But ultimately, what makes you to do that thing is a question which we should be asking every time with ourselves, that, hey, look, I want to do some product which will be used by users. So that clarity was there in my mind. So what needs to be done to do that thing, right? Like, okay, the development, then you go into the space where you study users, then you go into the space where you build the products which will be leveraged by users, and create that impact which you are assuming that you can give it to the users, right? Yeah, that's it. So here, right, like, the myth which you are saying, that you need to be having again, like, me being a technical background, I'm talking more about the technical things, that I did codings and then I went to the management space. But that's not right. But it is not completely wrong also.
Okay.
It is that you should be having a user mentality of solving some problem, real problem, using a technology. So understanding user is one thing, and to understand user problem and solve that through technology is another thing. So knowing this technology is a key part also. That you should not be having a technical background, that's okay, but you should be having the understanding of the the technicality which involves into that. So that I believe many people in the industry don't go with that thing, but I think that is changing through the time also, because that is easing the workspace also. That, hey, I looked into the user side, but I came and I looked into technology space also. So the lead time will be there, right? Like understanding the user's needs and communicating that into the technical document or what can be done through the technology. That lead time will reduce if you have the technical understanding of the things. So that's completely my perspective, which I think it helps me currently also. It is helping me, and it used to help me previously also. So yeah, at least, right, like that understanding is needed. So I think I helped understanding this space.
That was really a nice explanation by you. So, meanwhile, I was wondering, like, product management is only in the tech space, or product management can be also into another industries.
That's a great question, right? Like product management currently is majorly spoken in the tech space.
Okay.
But if you are building a table, that is also a product, right?
Right.
So that is also like the designation don't say that thing, but yeah, that is like you are doing a product manager, like Amir Khan says, right? In the simple terms, hey, right? Like what is a machine, right? Like when anything uses the work, that is a machine in the Three Idiots. So in the same fashion, that hey, you are building some building, that is also the end product. The architect of the building is a product manager. So here also, that hey, you are building some software product. It is like a technically solving users needs, and someone who is writing that document or someone who is visioning that product is called as a product manager. So it's like uh, currently it is majorly spoken in terms of the digital space, but yeah, I think it applies to all the industry also. But yeah, based upon that industry specification, they name it differently. Even for the product management question, right? Like the role itself, which has taken so much pace in the recent time. Previously in the industry, like how I was saying, for the same product manager role in my previous company, it used to be like a functional head. So every company used to use different terminologies previously, but that everything boiled down to product management currently. Yeah.
All right. So I'm just letting you know that you're making it ease for most of our viewers, and also me. I'm also a student at IIM Shillong, so it is also benefiting me in my aspects on in product management domain. So now coming forward with one of the greatest, confusion that students do have, like what is the difference between a product manager and a program manager. So we just thinks that we just think that these both of the things are same, but we are not sure about if they are same or not. So people are having a lot of confusion. So can you give your opinion, what is it all about?
Sure. So to this question, Chandan, I can say that everybody will have their own answers, but I think I would be the right person to give this answer, because I have also worked as a program manager
Okay.
in Amazon. I'm currently with the designation of program manager doing a product management role at Microsoft.
Oh my God.
So Microsoft gives the designation of program manager, but the role is about you setting the roadmap for the product, you setting the documentation for that product, and you setting the user experience for that product. So you are doing the role of a product manager with the designation of program manager. So here it's one and same. But at Amazon, I would say the program manager and product manager are different. The product manager does the same thing which I just explained for Microsoft, right? They build the user experience, they build the product, mobile experience or desktop experience. But the program manager handles the operational part of that thing. That like if I have to say, hey, how pricing strategy has to be implemented into for this kind of product line, right? Like what should be the competitive strategy of our some space which we are looking, like the grocery space. So how should we be scaling? So that strategies and operational part, where you are not defining the user experience, but you are creating some impact for the users decision taking capabilities, right? So that way that designation used to be a different. But again, right, this may be used in a different terms in another company also. It varies from company to company. But basically, if I have to clear here, what is a product manager is at the center place where that person talks to the technology, considers the business, and designs the user experience.
Okay.
And program manager may not be having all the three things. That person may be having the business aspect of that thing, not designing the product or a user experience, but the business aspect of that thing. So I hope I was able to answer.
Definitely, I'm sure you must have impacted on the clarity of thoughts the viewers must be having in, like this is was really one of the greatest, confusing query for the students, like what is the difference between this and that. So you have told us three main points about the difference between product manager and also program manager, so really appreciation, like appreciable for that thing. Now I think coming to that particular thing that people do have with their in their particular thoughts. So if the people are like interested, if the students know that they are fit for product management as in career, so what do you suggest them, like what skills do they acquire in the meanwhile to get a particular job in product management at a higher package? Or what do you suggest, like I've received few of the questions, so I'm telling you one of the question, that whether the postgraduate degree, either the MBA degree or a degree in technology, is it necessary to have for a student to acquire into product, or to be and to enroll into product management domain or not?
So yeah, that's a fair question, because this same question even I was having when before being a product manager, right?
Okay.
But I would suggest here, right, whoever is having this question, they can do a pestle analysis here. They can understand the internal and external factors involved in any domain, right? It's not only with respect to product manager, but it can be with respect to any other domains also. So the first thing is how industry is performing, right? Like in that industry, is there a demand supply gap is there with respect to this role? So current trend with respect to the external situations, COVID and all, the trend for product manager is high because everything is moving in a digital space. So that's an high. But for this purpose, do you need an MBA? No, you don't need an MBA.
Okay.
Having said that, you should be having that understanding, like I mentioned previously, that empathy towards the user's need and
That.
how those needs can be solved through the technology. So this understanding should be there. And to gain this understanding, I think MBA is a one medium of that thing, right? Like there few set of courses are there, and that helps you to get that thing. But if I was a coder, if I was doing product development, if parallelly I was investing my time in getting that empathy of users need by right, like joining some courses or reading through some online materials and all, because like I went to my functional head and said that, hey, this your job looks cool to me, can I also come to your role? His response was, yeah, yes, Vinay, but it would be good if you get some 6 months of customer understanding courses or something like MBA courses where you will understand the business angle of that thing. I can help you in moving to this role. So you got it right. Like
Yeah.
the point there was that you build products, right? Like you build products, but you giving that emotion in that product? that emotion is understanding the customer empathy, like customer needs empathetically and converting it into the product which will solve their needs. So all these are myths currently, that MBA is required or technical background is required. No, technical understanding is required, and customer needs are understanding the customer needs are required. So whenever I'm speaking about customer, right? Customer is an imaginary creature here, and that can be anyone, right? That can be anyone. If you go to B2B space, you will have that customer upfront in front of you reciting the needs. But if you go to B2C space, you don't know what customer wants, and you have to understand their needs, right? You meet with some 20 to 50 customers or users, and you compile all those studies and come up with some solution saying that, hey, if I build this kind of solution, it will solve maximum of the needs, not everything, but maximum of the needs. So that understanding, right? I would say that understanding, I got it from my education of MBA. But this is, again, MBA was a medium. It actually helps, but it's a medium over there.
Absolutely right. Understanding customer makes you different, makes you unique from other competitors in the entire world. You're definitely saying it correctly, Vinay. So now, like coming forward with what could be the eligibility criteria for the students who are interested in product management domain. So is there any eligibility criteria? You have already mentioned that the postgraduate degree or an MBA degree is not necessary for this particular domain. So that's really appreciable for in that concern. But moreover, what could be, or like, is there any kind of eligibility criteria in this domain or not? Later on, if there is the eligibility criteria, so what is particularly that? And also there could be students who must be interested in the domain but are currently freshers with no work experience, with no 6 or 7 months of corporate exposure overall. And also there could be students who are currently in marketing jobs or other domain jobs but are wanted a corporate shift in product management domain. So what do you have, what's your opinion in that?
So I'll not tell my opinion into this thing. I'll tell my experience of understanding this space, right? What I have looked into, looked in my recent time when somebody is getting into this role. So for freshers, I would say it is 100% tough. Freshers can not get an easy role of product manager. So this is what I saw as a stat from 2-3 year of placement processes, which is happening in my company also, and now in my college also, in my company also, that in the product management role, we don't take not one company, any company will not take a fresher. Okay. So this is just, I'm building that clarity, that if any fresher is listening to this thing, really, they can be clear that, hey, they should not be shocked after not seeing the shortlist of in this role. Okay. Somebody who was not in the tech space, right? Like who was not a developer, who has not done some software industry jobs and all, for them also it is not, I would say it's not tough as compared to freshers, but it is challenging to get that shortlist. So, but ultimately, yeah, your resume has to speak that what you have done was good for users, right? Like what you have done was understanding the users and solving the users' needs. That covers one aspect, right? The user needs aspect. How you solved is a different thing. Using a technology or not is a different thing. But if you are trying to convince through your resume that, hey, look, I tried to solve the user needs in some fashion. So that angle is covered in the product management shortlisting role, right? That thing. The technology, learning technology and understanding technology should also somewhere should cover in your resume that, hey, I'm pretty much interested in learning the technology and using the technology to solve the user needs. that also should cover. I would say that in some other fashion, the curiosity of learning technology should be there. So that is again that who is not having a technology or a software background. For the person who is having a software background, here also there is a myth that hey, I'm having a software product development or a some development in the software space background, I should be getting an easy shortlist. But if your resume again not speak about the user impact which you have created, then it is challenging for you at that place also. So you have to be specific about, hey, look, I have a customer empathy, I try solving the user needs, I use technology for solving the user needs, and these are the things which I have delivered being in a technology space, which like using the technology I try to solve. If this covers, this three portion covers in the resume, I would say there are high chances of getting a shortlist. So having a technical background gives an upper hand for sure. Not having a technical background, speaking about the customer side will give some upper hand. Not having any experience currently at this point of time, it will not help in getting a product management shortlist.
Okay. So, okay, that's strange. And also that is, little bit alerting for all of us to know about it, but definitely coming to facts and all the logics. So I would really like to know, like, definitely the viewers who are watching there must be viewers who are freshers, or the viewers who are currently into another domain and would likely be interested in shifting their domains into product management. So what do you suggest to those students or those people who are in that particular segment? What could be some few set of courses or certifications or particular books that you recommend to read? So what could be, like, how can a particular student who are a fresher or all over into another management domain and would really like to shift in this product management, so what's your suggestion in that case? So how can a student make his or her resume strong in that concern?
Okay, fair question. So here, this again with my resume mentoring processes, and I will be able to answer, I think, because for me that was not applicable because I was into the third part of having a technical background and coming into this space, right? So I would say that some courses or live projects that users, like the candidate, can take up for 3 months or a 6 month duration thing to build those points which covers the product management spaces, right? Like user angle, business angle, and technology angle of the things. And coming to the books which will help in getting more understanding of product space, I would say, like I'll name some few which helped me in getting into this thing. Like one is like Atomic Habit, I would say. Second, No Rules. And third is Hooked. Fourth is Steve Jobs. Okay. Fifth is Decode and Conquer. So for Decode and Conquer, you will get what currently industry is looking into, like at least the entry level interview questions and understanding of this space. And why Steve Jobs? I think that person has defined this space in a better way from the start, right? So reading that book has given me an inspiration that how crazy one can be in building some products, and that product which uses technology to solve the world's problem. So that gives some kind of motivation into this thing. And after this, right, like I'll share the course link to you, Chandan, which you can share with the interested folks, where it is pretty much covered about how to go ahead with the product management space and what is required and all. So that course actually covers the content into this.
Thank you, Vinay. Like I'll be sharing that particular link of the course with under the course under this video description. That will be, this video going to be posted on YouTube and also Spotify, so viewers can find out the particular course link in the description of the video. All right. Okay, so thank you so much. Like this was really helpful in every aspect of a student journey, or definitely climbing a career ladder in his or her particular life. So now coming forward with like one of the main question that I do receive from the students who are MBA students and are working like in the summer internships currently, and also there is summer internship scheduled for 2 months, as you know, like for April and May in the second year. So we really would like to know, like, if there is a student who is not sure about product management domain but have a certain inclination towards the domain and wants to pursue but cannot take risk in particular domain, like cannot take risk in his life ki whether he or she jumps into product management domain and does not finds out his or her interest in this particular domain. So what do you suggest into those kind of students, how to find interest in particular domain?
Okay, that's a great question, I would say, and really, I think I will justify with my answer or not. I'm not sure. So the point is about like, hey, ultimately I landed into the product management space, but I'm not liking it. How to come over with that syndrome, right? Like, so here again, I would say that it's about the same analogy, right? Like you want to reach from Hyderabad to Bangalore and you took some different route. Now you are saying I reached Bangalore, but I'm not liking it at Bangalore through the route which I took. So ultimately, it's about changing that like course of that's tricky for me at least, right? Like, hey, like I landed up now, what to do? You have those skills, and if you don't find an interest, you have other opportunities. But it is like it's going into self exploration mode, that hey, if not this, then what?
Right.
Right? If not this, then the what? And that what differs from person to person also.
All right.
So for me, it was clear that okay, I wanted to go into electronic space, but didn't work out. But what I got an outcome of that education, I like that thing. I try to make a route from that thing, right? Like, hey, like I wanted to go into electronic space, but I didn't get. I went into the computer space, and I started liking it. If I didn't started liking it, I would have searched for the electronic space, like which I think or the mechanical domain kind of thing. But ultimately, right, like you do some trade-offs and you try adapting to that thing. But yeah, it's actually tricky for me to give that answer.
Let's mold this question, like
Yeah.
let's suppose there is a student who have done his summer internship program in his MBA curriculum in particularly other domain. So
Yeah.
now he have found his interest lies in product management domain, finding his colleagues in the particular company while he or she was in some SIP. So he or she found himself or herself in inclination in the product management domain. So is there any kind of a difficulty for that kind of student to pursue product management job in the final upcoming placements?
Okay. There I can answer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
please.
here the first part of the answer is again that, like, how challenging is it getting a product management shortlist, which I answered, right? Like for a fresher who is not having a tech background and who is having a tech background. Now after this thing, if your summer internship is not in the product management space, you are into different role itself in your summer internship. Now you want to go into the product management space, so you have 1 year of time. So here I think MBA colleges, like if because your question was more majorly about MBA colleges who have done summer internship. So if you're in MBA colleges, you have abundant of opportunities of getting into the live projects, right? You approach any company or a previous organization who is in a tech space and say that, hey, I want to do some live project with you if it is going on. Many companies will agree with that thing. So one is that thing. Second is case competitions.
Okay.
Cases which are again using a technology solving the user needs. Those case competitions need to be shortlisted and try to get into those case competition. third thing again is that the course which I'm saying, right, like the courses link which I'll be sharing. So if these kind of courses are enrolled, which are like which can be completed in your second year time, so this will help in building those points, resume points, which will shape uh, that product management inclination resume things, right? So and ultimately after having this, once the final starts or a placement starts, you do a lot of mocks. I would say the mocks is key here. You should be doing mocks where you do proper, like how the consultants mocks happens, right? The same way for product management the mocks happens, which is like, hey, I'm a product manager, I'm interviewing somebody in my space. When I'm talking in interview, I should be expecting the conversations how I do in my regular work. So for that, the mocks will help.
All right.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So it's like pretty much sure. Like take those 3 points: fresher, non-tech background, tech background. Apply these conditions. You do case competitions. You do courses. You do live projects, and do mocks. Um, then it will fall into place. Yeah.
Really very nice explanation, because now I believe, I'm sure about it, that students must be very much hopeful in that case, because there could be certifications, there could be the courses that gonna be in the description of this video, so people can go through that particular courses, or can read those 5 books that you have already shared, so that can make make you achieve a milestone in particular domain, even if you are a fresher, or even if you are in another management domain. So there is still a hope, light of hope. And I think if there is a light of hope, if there is even a 1% scope, then you can make it around 100%. Nice. Okay, so Vinay, now I think the viewers must be eager to know, coming to the fact, they have interest, they have found their interest, they know about, they have known to many other podcasts like yours and mine, so they have been through a lot. Now what? Now coming to the fact, the final placements will be approaching to the students. So now what in case the interviewer comes to them, and what kind of questions, or what kind of interview gonna happen in the product management domain, and also how can a student build its resume into another level that can make that can get him or her a shortlist in that case.
Okay. This is a very the question which you asked is I would say it's another podcast only for me. That what can be asked in the interview and what kind of resume should be meant. But
just a
yeah, just in a brief, I would say that the interview will be why. There will be question given. If you are approaching to that thing, you should be understanding why that is needed, right? Like understanding of why, that what is actually that problem statement. Comprehend that problem statement into your understanding, divide it into the personas, multiple personas, so that you get a proper segmentation of the problem statements, and quantify those personas, saying that how I can impact maximum of the user base, right? Like again, the user base it will be. So understand why you are solving that thing, then jump into what are the options available with you in solving that thing, right? Like, hey, I understood the problem, I shortlisted this persona, then what are the options available with me for solving this problem? So you evaluate multiple options, you pick up the option which gives you maximum benefit. Again, it's maximizing everything, right? You do cost value analysis, you do all 2x2 4x4 matrices and all, apply this all for like frameworks and all, and evaluate the trade-offs into this thing, and you come up with the solution. There is no perfect solution for any problem in this world, so that is a top layer understanding. So having said that why, what, and how are you going to do that thing, right? Like the roadmap of that thing, right? Like what is the minimum viable product you want to deliver, then you learn from there, then you want to evaluate the impact which is which like it has created to the user, then you reiterate to that thing, then you build a metrics of measuring all these things, right? Like you building the right metrics is also important, because ultimately for B2B, I would say it's about it may be PNL, but B2C it is about what I intended to do is it doing that thing, that the capturing the right metrics and measuring that metrics is key important for measuring the success of that product. So keeping that metrics into metrics in handy and measuring it eventually and modifying it to, as the product progresses is key. With all this done, once the product is like in market and doing good, now you do the go to market thing, right? Like how you will scale it to multiple places, right? You maybe you might have done for one persona, so then how you will take that same product and try to solve another persona's issue, right? Like let's say that, hey, Nika is for ladies, right? If I have to bring an Nika into Myntra, so just a hypothetical example I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
please.
this Nika is completely for women segmented, right? Like
Right.
now I want to build another segment for men in Nika. So
Okay.
that is what maybe maximum things Myntra is doing that thing. So building a competitive space in Nika is like building another Myntra over there. Like you built a solution, like my MVP or my current persona was the ladies, and it is working fine. Now I have to change my horizon so
Right.
that I want to grow. So you just take the same solution. You have all this all the things in place. Just you have to again come like why men is a segment, how, and what I want to measure. So it's like you just branching it out. Maybe I helped in understanding this thing.
That's indeed a great explanation by you. Like giving a corporate example, Nike and Myntra, definitely gonna be benefited to all of us, to me, to the viewers, also to the friends and families who are ready to, get theirs to get their child or get their friends into the particular domain. I believe this session must be very much informative and definitely very much beneficial in climbing the career ladder, in also to reach the success in the coming future upcoming years. I believe you must have, we must have definitely covered all the aspects or all the questions that the students who is basically the beginner in this particular domain or would really like to adapt this particular domain as in career in his or her future. So definitely this session, I believe this session gonna be very much helpful. And also apart from that, I would really like to thank you, Mr. Vinay, for taking out time out of Microsoft. I know Microsoft is an organization who makes people work, like you are, as you told, that you are currently working in Microsoft Excel as a product domain. So definitely you gotta have a lot of work in the particular domain. So yes, thank you so much, Vinay, for joining us today for this particular amazing session, podcast session. So one last line you would like to tell us, tell our audience, that will be
Yeah.
appreciable.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Chandan, for having me here. This was a really interesting session for me, at least from sharing my journey aspect. uh, I wish like these kind of sessions were available some 3 to 4 years back, where I could have seen and leveraged that thing. But yeah, it's like it's a great thing which is happening currently. And yeah, for all the aspirants who are looking for a product management space, I would say go and explore it with all the terms and conditions which is applied. And as I discussed, these terms and conditions are every industry, right? Like, hey, like with all my background, I could not have said that I want to do consulting now.
Yeah.
Helped me at that point of time. It would have been a risky thing. But for product management also, if you are thinking that, hey, I want to do product management thing, so do all the right things which helps you in getting into this product management space. And the right things are, I think we
Yeah.
discussed from my perspective, at least in this session.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Vinay. I think we have covered everything, and really, the session was beneficial in all the aspects of the students and also for us, for me as a student at IIM Shillong. Thank you so much for joining us, Vinay.
Thanks a lot.